Welcome to the FSF PopCast live show. Hello, kids and cadets. Welcome to the FSF PopCast live show. John, I did find the button. It just wasn't working for me. But I double tapped the button and then it worked. It did the thing. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome to this live show, this little bit of nerdery that we have got going on here tonight. Should be a lot of fun. As you can see, scrolling along the bottom, tonight we are going to be talking about Tales of the Underworld. So there's a whole lot to discuss because that came out yesterday on May the 4th. Today is Revenge of the 5th. I'm
just watching the comments come in.
You almost heard me scream live on the internet.
Does that mean you would have screamed the phrase live on the internet, or you were going to scream and we would have heard it live on the internet? I'm confused.
I'm confused too, but I'm willing. I got something from the garage freezer and was not wearing my brown pants.
Oh, so you met Shelob. Okay, gotcha. Not Ungoliant. Okay.
I'm sorry, who, the what, and the how?
There's a small infestation out in the garage. There's a reason it's MySpace. MySpace, not the website.
Not the old website, not the fun one that we all miss.
It's still there. It's just crap.
Let's see. FSF. 3 Geeks has been prolific in the commenting, waiting for us. Y'all are slacking. Let's go live. The fans demand it.
I love you too, Jason.
Ready for Tim's lip biting. That's just for Jason. I'm here for all the Trek talk today. You might be disappointed, Jay.
I mean, we could totally do it. We could talk about how
make it happen and just
better.
So, chat, hit that like, give them the double-digit likes. Yay! There we go. I like that. Listen to them. They are smart. Hey, Brandon, welcome to the live show. Kathleen is not on show tonight because she is tired and John wants to talk Star Wars with me.
Kathleen had a very Monday type Monday, and she deserves a break from Tim.
John, you are not an infestation.
No, but the spiders out there are, dear Lord.
Oh, it was Spectre.
It was the cat. Okay, we have a stray cat living out there too, presumably eating the spiders, but I don't know.
Keeps finding its way into your garage?
Not entirely by accident. There may be an intentional gap there, so he can be safe. They can be safe. I'm not sure. Yet.
Okay. All right. Hey, no worries, Brandon. Glad you're here. Buddy. All right. So, like I said, lots to talk about tonight. Before we get into all that, though, I do want to say thank you to our show partners. Of course, Bones Coffee Company. You can get 10% off your order there. Idea Farm, 15% off your order there. And, of course, Level Up Sabers, because this is the Level Up Sabers Studios, as you see up top there. Woohoo! But yeah, and of course, we want to thank our viewers and listeners like you, because without all of you guys combined, this is a whole lot of nothing. It's just John and I talking to John and I, and we can do that all the time.
By your powers combined, we're the FSF PopCast.
So really, this is your fault. That's what I'm getting out of this. Yeah. 3 Geeks says, hey, Brandon. And Brandon, if you're not following 3 Geeks yet, you probably should be. They're a pretty cool group of guys. They can't count. They don't know how many geeks they actually are, but they're a really good group of guys. And guyettes now, because they've got a couple gals on the show, or at least popping in and out of the show. So, and yes, we are working on a Level Up Sabers commercial. We may have played a little bit of whack-a-mole out in the backyard, and it was filmed. I'm not sure how this is all going.
Well, now that I can use my arm again.
There was some yelping and some...
There were welts up and down my arm. It was bad.
One of us may have been swinging nicely. That was John. One of us may have been swinging for the fences. That would be me.
You're a lot bigger than me, too.
I was like,
this on the internet. Tim's huge.
I am not huge.
I'm not saying that like in a bad way. I mean, you're a big beefy boy.
Tim did get hit in the weenus, which is something
That's here.
The weenus is on your elbow. It's not what you're thinking, although it sounds like what you're thinking. Awesome, Brandon. Awesome. Good job, buddy. Yeah, you'll like them quite a bit. They're a lot of fun. And yeah, Kathleen, this is a family show.
I like them big.
I like
them chunky.
Kathleen, with your powers combined, in other words, without you, we're just random nerds on the internet. Yeah, well, there's that. And there it is. I like them big. I like them chunky. Oh, Moto. All right. Yeah. All right. And then also, as a reminder, if you're not already following us out on social media, you can find us on all social media except for that dead bird app called X, which I refer to as Twitter. We're on everything else out there as FSF PopCast. So you might want to check that out over there. And as Jason reminds you, they're a little raunchy in their main show, but everything else is not, mostly. So
they do some really good movie reviews. I've taken some recommendations there.
They do.
I've avoided a few things because of them. It's been good.
Yeah. Three Geeks does a really good job of getting out there, seeing the movies, reviewing them, giving some good information. And, I can steer their show on. So you can find it there. We're good. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Thank you, Brandon. Just remember, I don't have all my strength back post surgery yet. Yeah, she wants to do the things. She can do most of the things, but some of the things are still outside of the realm of things.
3 surgeries in 6 months is it's a lot for a body to recover from.
So. It takes a lot, absolutely. One surgery is enough, but then you multiply that on there. And she's been donating organs out. So I mean, she's not waking up in a bathtub full of ice or anything, but she is donating organs out.
It reminds me of a conversation I had at work last week, which would be disturbing if I didn't work at a hospital. That might make it worse.
He does work at a hospital, guys. So, I mean, it's a dumb idea. Don't do it. I should have sold them.
Sell your spleen to the death pixies.
Exactly. We miss you, Kathleen. John's bringing it, though, with that beard. John's rocking the beard. He's looking pretty good.
I had to get the pie out of it before the show, but yeah.
Pot pie. I'm only mostly jealous, frankly, because I was eating a Kind bar. There's my wrapper. So, that beard does a lot for a man.
How you doing?
Well, I'll understand, John, if you need to end your night early. So, all right. Although we're not really talking family shows. All right. Well, that's how families get made, Kathleen. We're not really talking about Andor tonight, but I do want to remind you that if you haven't had a chance to watch Andor, if you're not up to date on it, please go watch this show. It has been outstanding the last couple of weeks. The level of writing and storytelling that is happening in this show is everything that people have been complaining about not seeing in Star Wars for the last little bit. And it's got consistent run times, and we have more than 8 episodes, and it's just so very good.
Mm-hmm. It's like a whole Star Wars movie every week.
Yeah.
A month.
Yeah. There's 3 episodes every Tuesday night at 9:00 Eastern time being released. And each episode is like 45 to 55 minutes.
Yeah.
It is perfect.
Hands down some of the best storytelling on television right now. Streaming, whatever. Just
for sure.
Top tier stuff.
There is a show coming.
Most of it you can watch with your kids.
Exactly. There is a show coming up. I can't mention it quite yet. I got some screeners from a company from Apple TV Plus. And I have been watching it, and I gotta wait. Let's see, 12 more days, and I can talk about it. Anyway, I'm very excited about this show. It's very cool. And that's all I'm going to say. That's not a Star Wars project, but it's super cool. Anyway, we'll talk about that in about 12 days when I have freedom to do so, when I am not on an embargo. So yeah, I have an embargo I have to listen to. Did Tim say he was going to drop bars? I doubt it. Highly doubt that one.
I mean, with enough Guinness and tater tots, all things are possible.
Look, if I have enough Guinness and tater tots in me, you put Jump Around on, I'm probably going to rap along. So I do that when I haven't had any beer or tater tots. So just saying. Let's see. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been watching that at all.
So that's how I woke up this morning, was Kathleen watching that, watching The Last of Us. And that's a very good way to wake up very quickly at certain points. Yeah. Adrenaline right from the start of the day. It was good.
Woohoo. All right. But our topic for tonight is, of course, Tales of the Underworld. Now the last couple years we've been getting different tales of. We got Tales of the Jedi, we got Tales of the Empire. Now we have Tales of the Underworld, and we are focusing on stories from Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane. So not an origin story of Asajj, but an origin story of Cad Bane, which I thought was kind of interesting, where everything was going with that. And message to both ways.
So it's supposed to be message to go both ways.
Yeah, okay. And I'll message you, no worries. There we go. Okay. Oh, look at that. All right, so I am very excited about this. Just first, before we get into anything, initial thoughts, John, on all of this.
Overall, I enjoyed the whole thing. I personally enjoyed the Asajj side more than the Cad Bane side, but that's just my preference for the characters.
Okay.
I prefer my mysterious stranger gunslingers to remain mysterious strangers. I don't think they need a whole lot of backstory. But I mean, Asajj has been around for since the 2D animated series.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm a little more attached to the character.
So for me, it was I was actually the opposite. I actually enjoyed the Cad Bane stories more than I did the Asajj stories, which I was surprised of, because I was so looking forward to the Asajj Ventress side of the stories more than I was the Cad Bane stories.
Mm-hmm.
And other than basically the very first thing we're going to talk about here, there wasn't much that I got excited about or thought was kind of interesting about the Asajj stories. I thought they were kind of run of the mill. Maybe my perspective will change by the time we're done talking tonight, but I was just kind of like, so yeah, that happened. And then the Cad Bane stories, and again with those, I was like, oh, well, those are a little. Oh, he used to have a different name. Oh, that's where he got his suit from. Oh, okay. And there's another thing we're going to talk about as we get up there, but and as a reminder, guys, if you haven't noticed the thing running down below, the banner running down below, we will be talking spoilers tonight. This will be heavy in spoilers. So if you haven't watched Tales of the Underworld, get ready for some spoilers. Spoilers. There will be spoilers. Star Wars show starts. Me. Who dat? John answers. What are they doing? Answers.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
What's really fun is every once in a while we'll be watching something and Honora will start answering the questions for her.
That's awesome. I felt bad. It was like John was watching Star Wars with mom and kid asking questions, but it was just me.
It's actually kind of fun. It's not too often I get to explain things to somebody who's
Love you, Jay.
actually interested.
Right?
So yeah, it was kind of cool, actually. Thanks for tagging along, Kathleen. I enjoyed it.
All right, first slide. Here we go. Right off the bat, we see Asajj Ventress dead, being carried to the living waters. I think it's what they were called on Dathomir. And either the water of life or living water or something like that. I don't remember the exact
water of life
name.
Whiskey.
Yes. Let's see. What did you guys do on yesterday on Star Wars Day? I watched Tales of the Jedi, or not Tales of the Jedi. Actually, I did watch Tales of the Jedi too. That's a whole different thing. But I also watched Tales of the Underworld,
Yep.
And we had some friends over, and we started off. We watched episode 1, episode 2, and after I was done with all that, came out here into my office, and while I was working, I watched first 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't move much yesterday, did you?
No. Yesterday was a horribly lazy day, and it was everything I dreamed it could be. So, yeah, absolutely. It is fun to have things explained to me. That's when I said, "Who dat?"
Yep. And I had to not say things that pertain to certain quantified interactive storytelling experiences that Kathleen may or may not participate in on a monthly basis.
Aha. All right. But this part of the storytelling right here, what we see in the very opening of Tales of the Underworld, with Asajj being dipped in or being lowered into the water by Quinlan Vos, and Obi-Wan was there as well in this scene, is rather important to Star Wars storytelling. John, why is that?
Because this scene is actually straight out of the book Dark Disciple that came out in 2015, not long after Disney purchased Star Wars.
This book is canon.
Yes. And not that long ago, when Bad Batch was being released, there was a minor kerfluffle, just a minor one on the internet amongst the Star Wars nerds, that the dead Asajj Ventress was alive in that story.
Correct.
And there was a bit of a furor about Disney ignoring their own canon. It's like, well, no, guys, calm down. If you only watch the movies, Darth Maul died in The Phantom Menace, and then he shows up at the end of Solo. But the rest of us nerds know there's this whole thing in Clone Wars where, Maul's not dead.
Right.
So, kind of the same thing here.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's actually a really neat book. We see Asajj and Quinlan, they fall in love.
Mm-hmm.
She dies.
There's a whole thing with Count Dooku. It's actually a really cool story. I recommend it.
I don't want to give too much of it away, because I think people should go read the book, or at least listen to the book. But yeah, Dark Disciple by Christine Golden really explains what we're seeing in this first scene right here. Why Quinlan is taking her back to Dathomir. Why she's getting lowered into the water. Hey, Janice, there we go. Howdy. Hello, Janice. Spider Maul.
Spider Maul's awesome. I like crazy Spider Maul.
Spider Maul does whatever a Spider Maul can. Anyway, but this scene is very, very crucial because, like I said, we see that, but then we also find out, we hear the voice of Mama T, Mother Talzin, reminding her that if she would like to join her Dathomirian sisters, the Night Sisters, in the afterlife, she's free to do so. But if she wants to regain her life, she has to give up that which she cherishes the most. And that would be Quinlan Vos.
Right. Which I thought this was interesting because this is another example of Force Witches understanding something about life and death that the Sith very much want to understand, but don't.
Right.
They want to be able to come back, but they don't know how. These witches have figured it out. It's expensive, in terms of what you have to give up. And I mean, all the water was gone when Asajj came back to the material world. So it's like she can't do it again.
Right. This is a one-time deal. She doesn't. It's not like you can keep going back there and back there and back there. And so I thought it was kind of interesting that we see this play out. And we're going to skip over these next couple of slides here. But this is also interesting because we see this story here helps set the path for what we see for what we see in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, this is kind of hard to read, but this is from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show where they are on the path that's referenced all throughout the Asajj episodes, because we meet a new person in this series. But this is where Obi-Wan is rubbing his hand against the wall and he goes, wait a minute, Quinlan's been here.
Yeah.
And so it's a nice little bit of foreshadowing for what we didn't know was coming for Tales of the Underworld, and seeing the importance of Quinlan and getting people to the path so that they had an opportunity to be safe. And knowing that Asajj had actually helped at some point and was working with it, it was actually just kind of a cool moment.
It was.
But we meet this young man here. His name is Lyko. And Lyko is a spry little thing and really willing to get into some mess, get into some trouble. And
how did he stay alive that long, being that clumsy at what he does?
I don't know, because I love Asajj. She's like, try not to be a Jedi. She's like, you smell like a Jedi. How do I smell like a Jedi? Just be quiet.
Good times.
Yeah, I love Asajj's character. I love her snarkiness. And we see Asajj in this series with hair, which she did not have in the Clone Wars.
But she does have in Bad Batch.
But she does have in Bad Batch, which also tells us that this is almost parallel with Bad Batch, and also part of the reason why there was that kerfuffle that you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
Let's see. Tell Tim the joke I made about your present today.
So Kathleen came home. She bought me a Darth Maul action figure.
Ooh.
That she found in a store. It was on clearance. So she said, "Hey, I got your Maul. He was half off."
Yeah, that deserves a slow clap. That's good.
It does.
Okay. Hey, howdy. Hey, Janice. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Montana Jordan is your celebrity crush. Yeah. All right. So we have Lyko here. We have, he was far too willing to pop open his lightsaber every chance he got. Yeah. It's like there was even like a moment. I'm going to use the word again because it's just fun to say, kerfluffle. And he was like, and here goes the lightsaber. He was ready to fight. He was a scrappy little guy.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I thought was interesting is we're also in a period where the Jedis are being hunted. The Jedis are getting wiped out. That's why the importance of the path and knowing what the work that Quinlan Vos and that Asajj had done is kind of important here. And so we're seeing Inquisitors pop up kind of all over the place. And so again, kind of hard to see, but in this scene, I love the fact that they darkened the scene so you could see his eyes,
yes.
The Sith eyes. That the red sticking out is like, ooh, him's the bad guy. If the spinning double-ended lightsaber wasn't enough of a clue that he was, an Inquisitor.
Yep.
So if she's a lady witch, why was Obi there?
Because he and Quinlan are friends.
He was supporting his friend. Yeah.
His friend's girlfriend just died. He was there to be supportive. It's like if Isaac showed up because you died. Kathleen, not Tim. I mean, Isaac would be there if Tim died too. But anyway, it's complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated. But John, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Ooh, so I got in trouble for this one recently. It's actually The Last Jedi.
She's not a witch. She's your wife.
I mean, there are some who question how you managed to catch me, Kathleen. I'm just saying. They're wondering if there was like a chicken or a goat sacrifice involved. Or
I have new.
I don't know.
I got better. I'm just jumping around through all different kind of movies there.
That's what we do here.
It is what we do here.
Speaking meme and movie quotes.
Yeah, Lucas commented on our Instagram post the other day, and he was a little nervous about saying what his favorite movie was because it was The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
and I'm like, go for it, share it. I mean, we're not going to gatekeep you. Even if you happen to like Rise of Skywalker, if that's your favorite, good for you. I'm glad that you love Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. If you love Solo, that's your favorite. Good for you. I'm glad that you like it, and I'm glad you like something in Star Wars. That's the great thing about fandom. We don't all have to like the same thing. And there's a content creator on TikTok that I follow. I don't know what her real name is, but her screen name is Booba Fett. She's hysterical. But she had somebody come in and was trying to gatekeep her, and she's like, "Yeah, no, we don't do that here. We don't care what part of Star Wars you like. If you like anything in Star Wars, you only liked one scene in Star Wars, but that's your favorite thing, and that made you a fan, then you're a Star Wars fan. And so I carry that same feeling, that same thought. I don't care if it's something I like or dislike that you happen to love. As long as that's what got you into Star Wars, I'm thrilled that that's what got you here. So,
yeah.
And I stepped on a duck. That's how I got you.
There's a really long, complicated joke about people like stepping on ducks, and yeah. The next time we have a get to know your nerds type session, we'll go through it.
Okay, very good. Brandon says, "Oh, dudes, guess what?" All right, Brandon, what? I'm guessing. Chicken butt. Yeah, dang it, you beat me to it. I could hear you starting to say chicken butt as I was going. Chicken. No, anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, tell us what, Brandon. In the meantime, while we're waiting for Brandon's answer, this was a really cool fight scene between Asajj. Lyko tried for about 30 seconds, and he got his butt kicked and yeeted across the room.
Yep.
The Inquisitor was done with him.
Oh yeah.
But it was just a fun fight scene. And this is another reason why I do love the animation so much, is because we see really good lightsaber battles and things that would be hard to pull off with physical actors unless there was a ton of CGI and some things, but it's easier to do in animation and use those Jedi powers and those Sith powers during the fight. I was at WeebCon in Dallas 3 weeks ago, and I saw a cosplayer dressed as Woody wearing Boba Fett's helmet. Nice. Really? Oh, that'd have been cool. Woody Fett?
So this morning I was explaining to my mom that there are certain cosplays that like sort of twist the characters a little bit. Like there's Boba Fett, and then there's Boba Fett. Boba Fett being the one where like the armor cuts off at the midriff, and his belly's hanging out, and then he's got the trucker cap on his helmet. She didn't believe me until I showed her pictures.
Well, yeah. I remember you have to be careful because depending on what you do with the Google search, you'll also find if you type in Boba Fett, it's also apparently a type of weed you can smoke.
I did not know that. I've learned a thing
right there.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I was looking for something else and I found that. And I was like, oh, cool. He got a picture of it. Nice.
Yeah.
And he's going to send it to me.
Cool.
Perfect. Looking forward to seeing that. So we had some pretty cool fights. And so an interesting thought, though, and I've been seeing this pop up a lot, or enough that I wanted to talk about it. I shouldn't say a lot, but enough that I want to talk about it. Yeah. So Lyko Strata, I believe is his full name. It's either Strata or Stratar, something like that. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Hey, if it's legal, you do you, boo-boo. Exactly. There's been a theory kind of floating around out there that Lyko is somebody we've already seen in the Star Wars universe.
Really?
Rather recently, in fact.
Huh.
And I'm kind of curious because I'm kind of hoping it's true, because it would make a lot of sense to me if it was. Especially the way that the episodes ended for the Asajj series.
Okay.
And some of the things that this character said in a recent Star Wars show. Anyway, pretend there was a drum roll. People think that Lyko becomes Jad Na Nawud from Skeleton Crew.
There's nothing to contradict it at this point.
Right? It's a plausible theory for the moment. I'm not saying...
Yeah, but
I'm not saying that it's definitely the thing. I don't see a lot of connectivity between here and here. I'm just saying that we've made theories in Star Wars on far less.
Yeah.
Like way less.
Yep. Yeah.
And this whole theory started because somebody saw a picture of Lyko and went, oh, he's wearing a blue shirt. Jad likes to wear a blue shirt. They're related.
Well, I mean, also Jod did refer to having a Jedi instructor,
Correct.
and that she died horribly.
Yes.
It doesn't exactly fit because it sounded more like he was a kid who got Jedi training after she found him.
Right. Sounds like he was picked up off the street and then got trained. Not This kid sounds like he was trained at the temple.
Yeah.
And then Order 66 happened and somehow he escaped.
And there is an actress who filmed scenes of those events as a Jedi who looks nothing like Asajj, but as those scenes don't actually appear on screen, they don't mean anything.
They could be redone. Yeah. Exactly.
They're not canon. It's just what somebody did and ended up on the cutting room floor.
Exactly.
Along with the 15 deaths of Shakti.
Oh. Yeah. That poor Jedi, she got killed more ways than you could shake a stick at.
She's the Kenny of Star Wars.
So there's that.
Slightly disrespectful, but that's what I do here.
Janice says, I'm Montana Jordan's biggest fan. I'm a huge Young Sheldon fan. I've been watching Young Sheldon since 2020. It's 2025. I'm still watching Young Sheldon. Montana was 17 in the 4th season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not realize that. Is Young Sheldon done airing though? Is it? It's run its seasons, hasn't it? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. It ends. I think it's season 7 or 8. After, spoiler, it's a couple years old now. And also we know this from Big Bang Theory. Sheldon's dad dies.
Right
before Sheldon goes off to college, and that's where the show ends.
Yeah, that tracks. That makes sense.
Shortly thereafter,
Right. Okay.
Those of us who have lost a dad, it was kind of hard to watch, knowing that was coming. But
right,
still good TV. Right. I enjoyed it.
Now it's George and Mandy's first marriage. Yeah, that was what it leapfrogged into,
which is a show.
All right. So that was the first 3 episodes. That was all about Asajj Ventress, and is pretty interesting.
Yep.
Like I said, I was hoping for a little bit more. I was only really interested in the first little bit when all the stuff with Quinlan was in there, and I was hoping we might see a little more Quinlan because she was going to chase down the path, and I don't know. I was hoping we'd have more connectivity between Tales of the Underworld and what was going to happen with the Obi-Wan show and the path and Quinlan. Anyway,
yeah, I'm pretty sure she's
neither here nor there.
Yeah, it's going to tie in more with whatever they do next with Omega, I think.
I still think Omega's getting her own show, and we'll see Asajj in that. I'm pretty sure. But then we moved on to Cad Bane. So here we find out that Cad Bane has not always been named Cad Bane. We see him here. He's the little guy in blue with the name of Caleb, and that is his buddy Nero.
Was it Caleb?
And yep.
Okay.
I'm about 95% sure. I could be wrong.
Maybe. Go ahead. I'll let you know if you're wrong.
Okay, good. Yeah, Janice, when George Sr. passes away in the 7th season, I was crying a lot. Yeah, that's kind of an emotional thing, especially if somebody's close to their dad or just has a basic set of human emotions. So experiencing somebody else's loss. Absolutely. But yeah, so Colby.
Like the cheese.
Because
I was hungry all episode.
He was cutting the cheese. Anyway. Yeah, so it's Colby. My bad, not Caleb. All right, so Colby and Nero are kind of some street kids. They're kind of running around trying to make money pretty much any way they can. And they meet just find food, find some money, exist is what they're trying to do. And it's kind of interesting because they meet up with a guy who gives them a coin because he sees these 2 kids, thinks they're entrepreneurial, and he's like, tells them that he's a businessman and that he is investing in a future. So it's kind of interesting because we find out where Cad Bane's look comes from. So we see Cad Bane that in the middle there. That's from the Boba Fett TV show, the live action. On the left, we see the gentleman named Laszlo with the wide brim hat. He's got the duster on, the sidearms. Even has, and he doesn't in this picture, but he's got the toothpick or the straw in his mouth. And then we see that Cad or Colby at this point picks up that look later on in life, and even starts talking like Laszlo was talking. And so it's pretty obvious that Laszlo was pretty formative on his young little brain. So in one of their little expeditions, one of their little heists, things go bad. Nero gets separated from Colby. Colby gets in the car with Laszlo, and the speeder takes off. And we see Colby. This is a kind of a cruddy picture, but it's the only one actually I could find of this that was halfway decent. And because that picture was about yay big, and I tried blowing it up to about yay big. And it's about it. So it got a little pixelated on me.
You didn't just do the CSI enhance.
You know, it doesn't really work that way.
It really doesn't.
It really doesn't. I've tried. Lord knows I've tried. I put it in. Actually, I have a program that I use. And it will resize photos for you. But even with this one, it was like, yeah, this is the best we're getting. Okay. So, yeah. But we see Colby here looking out the window, watching his friend Nero get arrested. And that's where one of the episodes cuts out. And then it cuts back with Laszlo dying. He went out on a mission.
Yep.
And Colby, or he's called Cad at this point, and this other, a female that looks like Cad, is sitting there. They're playing some type of game. And her name is Erin.
Mm-hmm.
And he has apparently drawn an attraction to Erin. But the report comes in that Laszlo has died. And so he goes to find the person who did it.
Yep. As one does in this kind of setting.
Right. It was very this whole thing, this whole scenario leading up to this, because apparently in the meantime, Cad has spent some time in prison, and he was running Laszlo's gang from the prison.
Yeah. And
calling the shots, and everybody's listening to Cad and doing all the things that he's telling them to do. And everybody in town is like, hey, a couple of Cad Bane's guys are coming here. He's out of prison, by the way, and there's a shuttle
on a technicality.
On a technicality, right? And there's a shuttle coming from his prison planet to here in the next couple hours. You should probably get out of town.
Yeah.
And Nero, who is now the marshal of the town, the lawman, as Cade would say, is now, he's now the marshal. He's now in charge of all these things. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. I am going to see my old friend. And this is how he sees his old friend.
Yep. It's the whole thing, I mean, is sort of a very spaghetti Western, but with a little bit of Count of Monte Cristo thrown in, I think.
Oh yeah, that'd be accurate. It's definitely got the spaghetti Western feel.
Yeah. Which is great because Star Wars is partially based on Western, and
for sure. Mandalorian leans heavily into all that.
Yeah.
So Book of Boba Fett did as well. So
yep, definitely.
So, but yeah, that's we see Nero now as an adult. He's still green with envy, some would say. No, he's not really. But we see that there's a secret that Nero has about Erin that Cad / Colby does not know.
What could that be?
And that was that he married Erin and they had a son together.
Well,
Hold on. Just don't get ahead of me.
Okay.
Just go with. I'm setting up a. That was something different. I was setting up a frame.
You're voguing is what you're doing. I know we're from Michigan and we love Madonna, but you know.
No, we do not.
Okay, you're right. You do.
I will fight you. Janice says there's 4 episodes left of George and Mandy's first marriage. Everyone is so mean to Georgie in all the episodes. They need to apologize to Georgie. Yeah.
He's like the hardest working character in the shows. So
Georgie was helping them pay their debt off. Okay. But yeah, so there's something happening here, and they get into this fight. He finds out that Nero has married Erin, but Erin has died. She died 2 years ago while Colby Cad was in prison, and he shoots Nero. And after he shoots him, the son, I believe, whose name is Isaac, runs up to him and is holding on to who he knows to be his father, laying there on the ground, dying. And as this is happening, Cad says to him, "You have taken everything from me."
Mm-hmm.
To which Nero responds, "Not everything."
Oh my.
John, why was that? Why was that, John?
Well, because the little boy looks exactly like Cad Bane. Colby.
Yeah.
That's his son that Nero had been raising as a stepson with Erin for the last several years.
So kind of interesting. We find out that not only does Cad Bane have a origin story, but Cad Bane has a son that he didn't know about, and that sounds to me like his Erin was hiding this from him, because obviously Cad wasn't a very good dude.
Right. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You find out that your former partner was kind of an abusive jackhole, and you don't tell them things about your life. You might want to protect the kid from becoming like their dad. You know,
right?
Harley Quinn did that with the Joker and their kid. Just saying.
So, your bounty hunter booty call, you didn't want to raise a child with. You decided that you would rather raise a child with the lawman.
Right.
So
give the kid more stability in life.
Yeah, reasonable expectation. Yeah. I think there. So kind of interesting how that all played out. I may have super glued myself to the cat tree.
Okay, so I need clarification, Kathleen. Is that the one that's been in the living room for a while, or the new one that I recently acquired for free?
So are we talking like cat tree, like the thing where they can scratch on it, climb up it, sleep in the thing? Okay.
Yeah.
I just wondering if there was an actual tree with those growing cats in your backyard, because that'd be very Kathleen.
Practically, because we're so close to the fairgrounds every year, when people like drop off the cats and kittens, so that the farm kids are like, "Oh, Dad, I just sold my cow. Can I have a kitten?" Oh, living room one? Okay.
The living room one. Let's see. Mandy gets me so very mad when she tells Georgie I got a diploma in college communication.
Yeah, I believe he then says something about, why aren't you any good at it? Anyway.
Kathleen was trying to reattach the rope. Aha.
Oh, okay.
Why did that Cad Bane had a son sound like Syndrome finding out about the Incredibles family?
We'll have to wait and see.
Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl got busy. So yeah, Cad Bane got busy with Erin.
We've established through Andor that sex is a thing in Star Wars.
It's happened because that's how people happen. But according to your wife in an earlier comment, I got to go find it.
Oh Lord, what'd she say? I wasn't paying attention. I'm
but
sorry.
Unless not when you eat the uterus, drop kicks it into oblivion.
Ooh, that reminds me. I'm picking up a computer tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll run the thing.
I don't want to know. Okay. Have you guys heard about Incredibles 3? I did not. I did not know that they were making an Incredibles 3.
Huh.
I'm always up for more Incredibles, so but that's always a winner for me. Okay, so John,
Yes.
Tales of the Underworld.
Yep.
Out of a 5-star engagement, but because we are a podcast, can't do really stars. Star seems boring. Out of 5 trooper helmets, how many helmets would it get?
I'm going to give it 4.5.
4.5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to give it about 3.5.
Really?
Just because, like I said, I was hoping for more, expecting more out of the Asajj stuff. It's still good. It's still very enjoyable, worth the watch, and I'm sure that I will have no qualms rewatching it when it's time to go watch it in my chronological rewatch time.
Right.
However, I mean, it won't be like with Solo where I'm like, God, I gotta watch that again. Okay.
What's wrong with Solo?
I still have. I'm trying. It's still an Alden Einrich problem, and it's not his fault. It's really not. He can't do anything about him being him. He's just not Harrison Ford, and I have a hard time with believing he's Han Solo in the movie.
Okay, so taking that premise, did you watch the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like those?
No, because they weren't Harrison Ford.
Oh, at least you're consistent. Thank you.
I am consistent in my stupidity, John, all the time.
It's not stupidity, it's your opinion. Well, and opinions can be stupid, but that has more to do with the person that has them.
In this case, your wife is very talented. She got her hand free.
Woo!
And I think Brandon was agreeing about when I said that more Incredibles is always a good thing. I think that's what he's agreeing with.
More of most stuff is always a good thing. Right?
Especially when it comes to Star Wars, because more Star Wars means we get answers to other Star Wars problems and questions, like what we got in the very beginning of this. I honestly, I thought that was the best thing they could have done with Asajj, was showing her death and resurrection, because A, it's not a retcon.
Nope.
And B, it's sticking so closely to canon. I mean, it's step for step with canon. So,
can I rant for a second?
You have all the time in the world. I'm
okay. So there's this whole thing about like Disney ruined canon, whatever those individuals like to say.
The fandom menace, yes.
Yes. So back in the day, before Disney, there were tiers of canon.
Yes.
And the highest level of canon was anything George Lucas himself actually worked on, and everything else was optional. All the books, all the comics, all the, the holiday special, the Ewok movies, those were all not really part of the story because George didn't work on them. He didn't write, he didn't direct, he didn't do anything. Okay. With me so far, right?
I'm tracking. I'm with you.
So all Disney did when they bought everything was, you know what? We're just going to start with George's stuff and expand from there. Just like George did.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they did.
Yeah. That's precisely what they did. They stuck to what George said was canon, and because George didn't even acknowledge the EU, he just thought that was something else out there that people were having fun with.
If he saw something cool, he'd borrow it.
Yeah, he had no problem taking from it.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the think tank of ideas that people make it out to be.
Right.
So
anyway, that was it. Just like the people saying that well, Disney's not paying attention to their own rules, yada yada. No, they're just
that's not the case.
They bought all the rights. They went back to the beginning and they built out from there.
Yeah, Kathleen said John pushes his bifocals up. Back in my day, Star Wars.
Back in my day, Star Wars was 3 movies, a couple of TV movies, a couple of cartoons, and most of them were god awful. Anyway,
you're not wrong.
So, I mean,
you're not wrong.
The consistency of what we get now is way better than the Ewok movies or the Ewok cartoons or the droid cartoon or the holiday special.
So So even though I may not be the biggest fan of Solo, I enjoy the movie. I just have a hard time seeing it as a Han Solo movie. If I picture him as a different character, it's a very enjoyable movie for me.
Yeah.
But if I see him as Solo, it's like it's not Harrison Ford.
Right.
So,
like if it had been the guy in the cantina booth one over from Han Solo, it's an awesome story.
exactly. And
But from your perspective, I get it.
From a certain point of view.
Yes.
Yes. Exactly. But yeah, so I mean, I and I don't remember where I was going with that, but I was going somewhere with it, and it was going to be great. I was going to make a swell point. Oh, even though Solo, I may not always enjoy it because of my own perspective, my own thoughts, and I may not always be the biggest fan of certain other things in Star Wars. Yeah, I still don't know where I was going with that. All right, so never mind.
But you respect that other people are going to like it.
Yes, we'll go with there. That's where I was going to go. Totally. That's where I was going. Other people could absolutely like that show and love it. It's great and have fun with it. And it's yeah, we'll go with that. That was where I was going. Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. That's where I was going. Thanks, John, for saving me. You understood.
That's what I do. I understand you.
John,
you might want to have that looked at.
We might exactly. So last week we dropped an interview with a really cool guy named Justin Cabanting. He's a you're getting so old. You two are around my
favorite commenter.
Wow. Gut punch. Okay.
Yeah.
But last week we released an interview with Justin Cabanting. He's a voice actor here. He was in Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was also does some on-camera work, of course, on Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was also in Skeleton Crew, and he was a voice in the Fortnite games and a few other things. Just a really cool guy. So that was last week's episode. Coming up this Wednesday, and if you're a Patreon member, you could be watching this like as soon as we're done here. Go to our Patreon channel, spend 3 whole George Washingtons, and you can see our interview with Brian Volk Weiss. Not to mention a whole lot of other behind the scenes stuff that's never been released on YouTube, stuff you won't find anywhere else. It's only on Patreon for $3 a month. But yeah, Brian is a really, really cool guy. He is the CEO and founder of the Nacelle Toy Company. And not only they don't just do toys, they have this whole backlog of, like, he's been a manager and producer of stand-up comedy for years. But he's also the producer of Gates McFadden's Investigates podcast. And the Nacelle Toy Company also makes all the really cool Star Trek toys that have been coming out, all that type of stuff. That's because of Brian and his company. And they also produced The Toys That Made Us over on Netflix. If you haven't watched that show, strongly suggest it. It's amazing. Especially if you grew up in the 80s or 90s. There are a lot of really cool toys on there that they talk about, and I strongly suggest that show. The Toys That Made Us is fantastic. Really cool show over on Netflix. And yeah, I want to check that out. Yeah, for sure. Toys That Made Us. And he also has a new show. I believe it's only available on Tubi, and it's called Robo Force, the animated series. And it's got a couple of really cool actors in it. And Janice is now making up to us. She said, I love you both so very much. Okay. All is well. But yeah, so you can check out that interview right now over on our Patreon channel. Like I said, $3 a month. And not only does it get you content you're not going to get anywhere else and earlier than anybody else, but it's also a great way to support our show. And we would greatly appreciate any subscription to that. But if you want a free subscription, just click the follow button here on YouTube, because that is a free subscription, and that is also a very important thing. So if you haven't followed us by now, please do so. But yeah, that's it, kids. That's all, folks.
Yeah.
Buddy Jesus says it's time to go.
And then tomorrow I can start watching Andor again.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
I am so excited. And hey, guys, if you're Thursday night, was it I think it's this Thursday. Hold on a second.
Did you mess up the
I'm not
schedule again?
I'm no, it was next Thursday's schedule. I messed up the finale. So we're gonna have to do that differently. Because we booked an interview before Andor came out. And so yeah, we're next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're sitting down with actor Maddie Cardropel from Stranger Things and Lemony Snicket's and Free Guy and a whole bunch of things. But we're sitting down with him. That was the only time he had available. So we may have to move our live show to like right after that, maybe.
I can work with that.
Yeah, so just postponed a little bit. Not a skip, but maybe just a bit of a delay so that we can accomplish both things.
Yes.
But then so there's 2 more weeks left of Andor, and I am just so excited about where this is going, because of course it's leading into Rogue One, which we talk about the things that Disney has done so very right. Rogue One and Andor are very much those things that they have done right. Having Montana Jordan on your podcast would be so very incredible. We are trying, actually. I have sent out messages. It just as of yet has not happened yet, Janice, but we are trying. So and if that does happen, keep an eye on our Instagram page, because I will make sure to put out there, do you have questions for Montana Jordan? And so we can kind of go from there. Anyway, any parting thoughts before we say goodbye to the kids and cadets?
I don't know. So much going on. I can't keep up with it all. I didn't see Thunderbolts over the weekend because I was busy doing stuff.
I didn't have a chance to either. I want to. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I'm so excited.
I have managed to stay spoiler free as well, which is really hard.
It is really hard to do, and I have stayed spoiler free so far.
Right.
The things that I've heard have been very good non-spoiler reviews.
Right. I mean, considering the first thing I do when I wake up is like open Reddit on my phone, it's it's really hard to stay spoiler free on stuff.
Yeah, you're playing with fire there, Haas.
Yep.
If we had Mark Hamill on, I would still be giggling like a schoolgirl every time.
Mark, if you're watching, please.
Yeah, I would start and end every podcast episode be like, "Welcome to the FSF PopCast, the show that's had Mark Hamill on, and thank you for listening to the FSF PopCast, the show that had Mark Hamill." You would never hear. I would never not,
Yeah,
it
would just be like our badge of honor.
For sure.
We had the real Mark Hamill, not an AI generated one.
Not like some other YouTube douchebag. Anyway,
we get one shot each show. That's it. We're
I
limiting our
shot. I took my shot. We stay positive. I'm positive he's a douchebag. Star Wars theory.
There you go.
There you go. I stayed positive. I got to see it. Thunderbolts does look so good. Just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get to that this week. I'm probably going to go. I'm going to try for Wednesday night. I think that's going to be my first chance at making that happen. This also might be true, but we did have her husband on.
Just Tim. Okay.
She doesn't hate the whole podcast. She just hates me, and duly earned. And I've apologized 7 ways from Sunday. There's a whole story there. We don't have time to get into it tonight, but
that'll be another Get to Know Your Nerds episode.
That is definitely a story for a Get to Know Your Nerds episode.
What's the stupidest thing you've done during the podcast?
Oh, we don't have enough time for that.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours of Tim.
3 hours of me. 3 hours of John's editing me doing raspberries and recordings.
I'm still trying to like put that into a drum beat. Just your.
I know you have one. I know you do. Montana Jordan should write a book. Everybody should write a book, or at least read a book. Either way. All right.
If you're a better writer, so just throwing that.
I hope so, because I'm trying to read more, and I need to write more. So yeah,
you're gonna write a book.
Actually, I've had people ask me about our hospital and post-hospital experiences with Kendall to write a book.
That's going to be a lot of bourbon.
That's why it hasn't been written yet. I can't put myself through that just yet.
Yeah.
So
I get you.
There's a lot to uncover there, but I'm still working through all that stuff. And for the most part, I'm pretty good. This is the first year where I've been able to sit down and look at the pictures that were taken during that time, and not just so.
Yep.
So we are making progress.
Good. Progress is good.
Progress is good. Progress is always good.
Is also good.
Yeah, I went through a lot of therapy. Then I went through some bourbon therapy. Still going through some bourbon therapy just because I enjoy it.
Therapy.
Anyway, but yeah, so I've thought about it. But no, I need to write a couple articles. One of them is for that for the screener that'll go out on couch.
Yeah. Did you send me that?
I sent Kathleen a link to it.
Okay. All right.
So, and if you guys haven't started watching that, y'all need to watch that. That's some good stuff. We'll clarify that more off air, but but we'll be able to talk about that, like I said, in about 12 days. And once that's available to talk about, we will be talking about it on the show.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Exactly. Even though it's happening during Star Wars month, I will take a break from Star Wars to talk about it. It is that good. So, on that note, I'm going to say we can say goodbye. So, thanks everybody for listening or watching the FSF PopCast. And we hope, and I just combined wish and hope into whoop. So I got that going for me. Anyway,
there's our baseline.
On that note, may the force be with you as you continue to live long and prosper. Goodbye.
Copyright 2025 FSF PopCast. Reference any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF PopCast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpopcast.com.